going to be getting started in about 2 minutes. About 2 minutes. The goal is 300 today. 300.
Yes. Yes.
I've been sending out text messages all morning.
Well, hello, everybody. How we doing today?
Terrific.
Saturday.
Excellent.
We're here.
Awesome, brother.
Great, blessed,
We
and wonderful.
got a brand new format for you. We got the Vantage Point Connecta combo platter. So what we're doing is we're meeting all here at the same time, and then the Connecta is going to go into another room so they can do everything in Spanish. So invite all of your Latinos, Spanish-speaking people to come to the main meeting from here on out. We're going to really get this thing cranking, rocking, and rolling. We're at 190 right now. So make sure you're calling, texting your teams. Part of leadership is being able to promote and move people. Right, at the end of the day, if can't promote, can't move people, it's tougher to lead at the end of the day. So how you doing? I'm Dan. I'm your friend. Hope you're having a great Saturday morning. We got a great show for you today. We got a great training. We got some the art of asking questions when it comes to insurance and things like that. We've got some leadership that's going to be incorporated there. We've got a lot of good recognition. So stick around for recognition. After our second trainer's going, we're going to have some recognition. So make sure you're on there. You want to, if you're a leader, you want your team to see you get recognized. So you want as many people from your team. You want to see as many people from your team on as possible for that. So with that being said, I'm gonna be quiet for a minute. I'm gonna introduce Angie Jean Bart because Angie's gonna get everybody from the Connecta starting to shift over and give some instructions to them to get into the breakout room and everything for that. If you're a Connecta person, maybe put C by your first name as well. Make it easier for Veronica and Angie. But Angie, the floor is yours right now, my dear.
All right. Happy Saturday. Feliz sábado con todos. Happy Saturday. Well, welcome to Vantage National and Vantage Conecta. Yes, we are integrating both worlds and we are going to go into a breakout room. Si usted es latino y está aquí y quiere recibir un entrenamiento en español, por favor, vamos a tener aquí. Quisiera presentarles oficialmente. I would like to introduce all of you officially. This is our heart in terms of when we do trainings, when we do anything. You see how Vantage has Maria. Maria is helping us. I have my own Maria. Her name is Vero. Veronica, please say hi to everyone. She is bilingual. She is the one facilitating the breakout room. She's the one that helps me with contracting. She's the one that helps me with stuff that I'm probably talking to people while she's helping me in the back end. So I just want to tell everybody, she helps Jackie with her stuff. So please give her a nice welcome. She's someone that I happen to come into the business, but so much great potential in terms of what she does in this business for us, for LJ, for the heavy hitters. So Veronica, can you introduce yourself? Please tell us a little bit about you. Just 1 minute, I don't want to say about your family, but please share. You are a mom, you are this, you are all that stuff. And then we can quickly start heading out to the breakout room.
Hi, everyone. Happy Saturday. Thank you, Angie, for that introduction. Yes, pretty much what Angie mentioned. I help her, LJ, Jackie, and all the leaders who need my help. And every associate who comes in, we welcome them with open arms. So I'm happy to be able to be that support point for everyone. And yeah, I'm going to be 25 in a few months. I'm a mom of a 3-year-old. And I live in Puerto Rico, so también hablo español. Y sí, estoy feliz para estar aquí con ustedes y ayudarlos en todo el momento.
Awesome. So she's going to be helping us facilitate. Veronica, whenever you're ready, cuando estés lista, let's do the breakout rooms. Y las personas que vamos a entrar a Vantage Conecta, yo voy a ir al cuarto, podemos buscar, o si no, le dice a Verónica en el chat, yo soy Vantage Conecta, ella te va a llevar al cuarto. and then we're going to be ready to start it. So as we do that, Dan, this is all yours. You can keep doing what you need to do. We're going to start heading out to connect that, and then the training is going to come together again. So we're not going anywhere. We're going to come together for recognition. So we're here right now. We're going to go to training. Then we're going to come back. The breakout rooms will close, and we're going to come back again. Después de que hagamos el entrenamiento, vamos a regresar para hacer reconocimiento y así nos despedimos todos juntos. Sounds good? Thank you. Thank you.
All righty, folks. How we doing? We good?
Fantastic.
I love the new format. I love the new format for everybody. We're gonna get this thing to 300. So, you know, it might hit it to stay. So we're gonna keep calling, texting our people to get on. What do we have? 700 new recruits last month. Well, where are they? right? Where did they go? Right? Where did they go? Do they have a tradition of meeting attendance and things like that? So if you got some new people, make sure that you get them on the call. With that being said, I'm going to introduce our first speaker. Man, I'll never forget. We talked about this the other day, Armand, right? I'll never forget. We were at our very last Wealth Bowl with the previous company. We were in kind of like the lobby. We were eating ice cream, right? and he goes to me, he goes, Dan, are you going to go? I go, heck yeah, I'm going to go. I'm out. This is my last WFG event. For sure. I'm out. I'm done. And he goes, you know what? I think I'm going too. And we're both here. We started. Armand he's a co-owner of the company. Yeah, he is 250K, got his 0.25%, qualified for his 0.25%. And just a really great guy. You know, I call him Mr. McCarroll. Sometimes people missay his names, right? Those people remain to be nameless. But Mr. McCarroll, just a good man. And, you know, you could tell who's got the goods and who doesn't when you look at their kids. And I've seen his son speak on stage. I'm like, man, these guys are good, and they're well-mannered, and they're sharp, and they're professional, and they got good hearts. And you just know that Armand and his wife have the same, and it's a trickle-down effect. So with that being said, I'm going to give it up to our first trainer, the one, the only, the great, Mr. Armand McCarroll.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Dan Ebert. I appreciate that. Yeah, man, I remember that conversation. And Dan has come out to speak at events for me. And man, I just love to see his success. I called him the other day just to congratulate him and his family, his beautiful wife. So he's definitely a blessed man. So let's go ahead and get started, guys. I'm super excited. Dan, do I have sharing options already? Nope, it says
yes, sir. It should be.
Okay, let me do this. All righty. All right, guys, listen, we're going to talk about a couple different things today in the short time that I have with you. We're going to be talking about insurance, not specifically IUL or not specifically term, but we're going to be talking about all of those things. But more importantly, we're going to be talking about how to increase the death benefit and the living benefits that you offer clients. Now, let me ask you this. What are some traditional ways that families or individuals come up with the right amount of life insurance? You know, you might have heard, 10 times annual income. You may have heard different things. But what we're going to talk about today really leaves no stone unturned. So I want you to grab your notepads and take good notes. And I don't mind asking questions. So if you have some questions that you need to have answered, just let me know. It's more important for me that you get value out of the training than we finish all the slides. Does that make sense? All right. I wanted to start off with this slide. I love this slide. Everybody says life insurance is a scam until the funeral home asks, how are you paying? So I love that because believe it or not, a lot of people, how do you answer someone that says, I don't believe in life insurance. Like, what do you say to them, right? And so I always think that, my many of you guys know I lost my dad a couple months ago, and it was a reality check because just the burial alone, not even counting the funeral, just the burial alone was over 10,000, right? And so, thank God, he had some things in place. Thank God I work here and we were able to take care of those things. But these things that we're dealing with, guys, are for real. They are for real, real life situations. So what exactly is insurance? We're going to go basic, right? And then we're going to kind of expound on this. So insurance is a legal contract that transfers risk from a policyholder to an insurance company. It's an excellent way to create generational wealth. And so when we say transfer risk, think about all of the other insurances that you purchase, your car insurance, your homeowner's insurance, your renter's insurance, even your insurance on your cell phone. What are you actually doing, right? You're transferring the risk to an insurance company. Obviously, you have to pay some premiums, right? But you're transferring the major part of that risk to the insurance company. Certainly, if you drive a $30,000 or $40,000 car and you get into an accident, right? You don't have $30,000 or $40,000 to replace that car or to get it fixed. And so, what do? You transfer that risk to the insurance company. Now, in our business, there's two types of life insurance. And I would challenge you to ask people this because you're going to get the wrong answer almost 75% of the time. What are the two types of life insurance, right? Most people will say term and whole life, right? That is not true, right? There are two types of insurance. There's term and there's permanent. Now, underneath permanent, there are four types of life, and we're going to get into that. So you got term. So what's the benefits of term? Well, you can get it with or without living benefits. I'm not sure who would want to get it without living benefits. It's low cost. Most companies, not all, but most companies do have a convertible term, right? And just for my neophytes on what does convertibility mean? That means the option to be able to change it from a term to something permanent at some point in the future, right? Now, you have term in different increments, 10-year, 15-year, 20-year, 30-year. I even understand that there's a 40-year term out there. If you've done any business with Core Bridge, one of the big benefits that they have is that you can do anything in between those times. If you wanted a 17-year term, you could get that, or a 12-year term. And typically there's no cash element. Now on the permanent side, right? What's the benefits on the permanent side, right? Well, typically it's a higher upfront cost. However, it builds cash value and it's in place as long as you pay for it and the premiums and the death benefits are flexible. Again, I know that this is kind of a repeat for some of you, but I wanted to go into this so that we can build on what we're going to talk about today. So here's the question that we get asked all the time, Veronica. Which one is better? Is it term? Is it the IUL? Is it whole life? Which one is better, right? And let me just tell you, if anyone ever asks you that question, do not answer it because they're all good. You know what it depends on? It depends on their situation. It depends on their finances and things of that nature. So always remember that. So, if someone asks you, oh, so Abed, should I get term insurance or should I get whole life? Always say, you know what, it really just depends on your situation. Let's talk a little bit more. Okay, now, so I want to talk about just real quick because this is so super important. Make sure And I'm saying this to all of you on the call because I want to make sure you are covered as well. Let me just say this, and Kevin is going to laugh when I say this. I tell all of my business partners, if you pass away and you don't have life insurance, I am not coming to your funeral. I'm just being straight up. I am not coming to your funeral, right? Because Charlene, if let me just say this. If I go to the funeral and my business partner has a GoFundMe, they're gonna look at me and they're gonna go, wait a minute, didn't Charlene work with you? I would go, yeah. And don't you guys sell insurance? Yeah. So why didn't Charlene? And so now I either gotta lie or I gotta throw Charlene under the bus. And I don't want to do any of that. So guess what I'm not gonna do? I am not gonna show up, right? And so listen, guys, we have 251 people on this call. Guys, make sure that you have your own affairs in order. It's really, hey Alan, how are you, man? Good to see you, my friend. It's really hard for you to talk to someone else about something and you don't have it for yourself. I'll say that. So when we talk about convertibility, convertible insurance is a term life insurance policy that can be converted into a whole life or universal policy. Get this, without a health test. So think about this, Kelly. Let's say, you get some insurance 10 years ago, right? And, let's say you get a 20-year term. You only have 10 more years off left. Well, guess what? If you have a company where you can convert that insurance, you can convert it to something permanent. And now, no matter what has happened in your family history, you're able to change it over to something permanent. I can't tell you the number of times that has actually happened with many of my own clients. I have a client right now. She retired. She had a term. Her and her husband had term policies. She retired from AT&T, and the year that she retired, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, right? And unfortunately, she's fine now. She had to have a double mastectomy, but as soon as we found out that she was diagnosed, we immediately converted her term to an IUL. Yes, it was a little bit more expensive. And so guess what we did? We took part of her retirement. We took part of her retirement and paid the policy up for the whole year so that she could focus on her health and get better and not have to worry about it. And those policies are still in place today. So what do you say to somebody when they say, well, you know what, Kelly, I am good. I have insurance on my job. I love this quote. As you guys can see, I love quotes. It says, when someone tells me that they have life insurance through their work, I say, listen, that's great. But let me ask you this. Do you plan on working there your entire life? Because guess what, guys? What happens to term insurance 95% of the time when you leave that company? What happens? It leaves, it goes away. And so you do not have that insurance. So when someone tells you that, just make sure you listen, guys. And I want to say this. You guys are all financial professionals, right? You guys are financial professionals. You had to pass a test. You had to take some classes. You had to go through all of this to get your license, right? One of the things that I see a lot of is many of you have become what I call order takers. Now, what do I mean by that? Liz knows what I'm talking about. An order taker is someone that lets the client tell them what they want, right? And listen, I'm not saying that you shouldn't listen to your client. That's not what I'm saying. But if your client says to you, I just want some term insurance, you might say, okay, that's fine. But then you have to be the professional and say, well, let me ask you this. Why do you feel that way? What makes you think term is so much better than anything else? Again, you're the financial professional, and so it's your job to make sure that your client has the right type, amount of insurance. Okay. Now, when we talk about permanent insurance, and listen, for the sake of this conversation, we're not going to talk about any one specific permanent policy, but I do want you to know that there are four types of permanent insurance. You have whole life, you have universal life, you have index universal life, IUL, and for those of you who have security licenses, you have variable universal life. So you have four types of permanent policies. So remember, there are two types of insurance, term and permanent. Now, I want to switch gears now, guys. And so the question always becomes, okay, Armand, that sounds really good, but how do I figure out the right amount of insurance for my client, right? And guys, listen, I want you to grab a notepad because here's what I want you to do. I want you to go through this for yourself. As a financial professional, I want you to go through this for yourself. And then listen, if you find out that you're underinsured or whatever, then call your leader, call your trainer and say, listen, I just went through an exercise and I realized that I don't have the right type of insurance or I'm underinsured and I need to get my stuff together, right? Does that make sense to everyone? All right, so now what I call this, can everybody give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen? Everybody see my screen?
Yes, we
Okay.
can see that.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you. So what I call this is the 6 points of concern. 6 points of concern, right? And so what I want you to notice, I'm going to go through each one, but I'm going to ask the question that I want you to ask your clients when you're going through this. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay? So now, so here's you got a client, maybe a husband and wife, right? And they know they need protection, right? But they have no idea how much they should have. They have no idea what type they should have. And Khadijah, they come to you and they say, can you help us? And you say, great. You pull out your 6 points of concern, or let me just say this, you can do the same thing on a financial needs analysis as well. Okay. This is just more specifically designed for protection needs. Does that make sense? Because if you're doing a complete F&A, then these are the things that you should be covering anyway. Okay. So here's what you say, Khadijah. You say, listen, Mr. and Mrs. Client, let's go through really quickly and just kind of figure out how much do you and your family need, right? And so what I typically do if I'm dealing with a husband and wife or partners or whatever the situation is, what I will do is I will draw a line down my point of concern. Like I'll draw a line right here, right? And then on this side, maybe I put the husband's information, right? And on this side, maybe I put the wife's information. Okay, does that make sense to everybody, right? So now, here's what you got to understand. Here's what you got to understand. The information that's on the wife's side, who does that go to? Unmute yourself real quick. Who does that go to?
The husband.
The husband.
There you go. The information that's on the husband's side, who does that go to?
The wife.
The wife.
Go, right? And so let me just tell you something an old insurance person told me a long time ago. Husbands, pay your wife's insurance. Wives, pay your husband's insurance, right? Now, let me tell you why I say that. You know how many times I've had situations where somebody passes away and the husband, paid all of the insurance, but because finances were tight, guess what he did, Khadijah? He let his policy lapse. Well, guess who that affects? the
The
wife
wife.
and the rest of the family. But what if the wife paid his insurance? Then she would make sure what? She would make sure that that got taken care of. Now, that's just, that's just something a old insurance guy told me. Now, let me just tell you, full disclosure, I pay my insurance and I pay for my wife's insurance. So full disclosure. So hey, listen, Daniel, I am not going to get caught. I promise you. Look, I don't care how bad finances are. Guess what gets paid? My life insurance gets paid. Does that make sense to everyone? All right, so let's get started. So the first thing we need to do, Mr. and Mrs. Klein, I want you to write these questions down, right? The first thing we need to talk about, and I preface it with this. I say, Mr. and Mrs. Klein, some of these questions that I'm going to ask you, you've probably never been asked before. And let me just say this, some of them may be a tad bit morbid, but understand we're going through this so that we can figure out what your actual needs are. Okay? So the first question I ask is, and let's say I'm sitting there with the husband and wife, and I ask them both these questions. I said, listen, in the time of your death, of your untimely death, do you prefer to be cremated, buried, or something else? And then I shut up, right? And I let them talk. Listen, guys, I can't even tell you, sometimes that conversation takes about 15, 20 minutes, right? Because nobody really talks about that or thinks about it, right? Do you want to be buried, cremated, or something else? Now, let me give you an example. I was just talking to one of my clients, and he's from Chicago, but they moved to Georgia. They live in Savannah now. And so I was going through this with him and his wife, him and his fiance, and I asked him, I said, so if something were to happen to you, do you want to be buried in Savannah or do you want to come back to Chicago? Well, guess what he said? I want to come back to Chicago and be near my family. Well, guess what? Does anybody have an idea of how much it costs to ship a casket or a body back to someplace else, right? You got to do research on that. And so, do you know where you are? Do you know how much funeral costs are? Let me just tell you, California and New York have the highest funeral costs, and Mississippi has the lowest funeral costs, right? And let me just tell you this, guys, let me just say this, and because this is me, if you're used to using $10,000 as the average cost of a funeral, I would tell you to do more research because that figure is so, Joyce, that figure is so super outdated, right? I will tell you, go do your research based on where you are. How much does a cremation cost? Now, if they say, Joyce, I want to be cremated, then here's your next question. Do you want a memorial? Right? Because guess what? Memorials cost money. Do you want to have chicken? And I laugh when I say this. Do you want to have chicken at your memorial? Do you want to have steak or shrimp? Right? And so now then, once I get those answers, then guess what? I go to the funeral, I go to burial and funeral. If they say I want to be buried, and they're in Illinois, I put 15,000. If they say they want to be cremated, I put somewhere between 6 and 10,000. I put that right on this line. Okay. Now, next thing. So that's funeral costs because those things have to be covered. The second area that we cover is any type of final expense that the husband or the wife have to take over, God forbid, if something were to happen. That includes medical bills. That includes credit card debt. That includes car payments, other debt. Listen, guys, you cannot forget about things like that, right? And so here's the question that you asked. Yep, and that was it. Thank you, Kim. And that was Kim just made a comment about her grandmother. It was 8,000 in 2018. Absolutely, inflation, right? And so I remember when my dad's second wife passed away, she was ill for a long time, and they had a joint visa bill that had, listen to this, that had a balance of $23,000 because my dad was using that visa to pay for his wife's medical expenses, right? And so then when she passed away, guess who that bill fell on? My dad, right? And thank God we were able to negotiate something and get it paid. But here's what you ask your clients. Mr. and Mrs. Client, do you have any medical bills, credit card, or card payments that you would want paid off if something were to happen to you? Right? And then guess what, guys? You shut up, you listen, and you put those numbers in, right? Next, number 3, your mortgage. Do you have a mortgage? Yes. How much do you think you owe on that mortgage? Oh, I owe 250,000. Let me ask you this. If something were to happen to either one of you, would you want that house paid off? Right? Some say yes, some say no. Some say if something happened to my husband, I would probably move, right? Well, let me just say this. It's much easier to sell a house with no mortgage than it does with one that has mortgage. Dan, looks like my computer is going berserk again. I hope, can you guys hear me pretty good though? Okay, great.
Yes,
great.
we can hear you, Armand.
Awesome, awesome. Hey, let me just stop right here. Are you guys learning a little bit so far? I just want to, sometimes you just got to hear from the.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
We're learning a lot.
Yes. Yes.
More than a little bit.
All right.
Let's go,
So,
Armand. Let's go.
Deborah, sometimes you just got to hear from the choir just to make sure everything is going good.
I understand. Yes.
Absolutely.
Preach on, Armand.
Let's go. Let's go. Thank you, Joyce. So now you got the mortgage in there. Number 4, and this is one that's overlooked. Number 4, do they have young children or grandchildren? And here's the question, AJ. If something were to happen, do you want to provide any money for college for your children or grandkids? Now, guys, here's where Google becomes your best friend, right? Because here's what I ask. I say, listen, in an ideal world, where would you like your kids to go to school? And typically it's the same school you went to, or sometimes it's Stanford, Harvard, University of Chicago, whatever the case may be, right? And then if you don't already know the answer, what you do is you go to Google and you ask Google, how much is out-of-state tuition for Georgia State University? And it'll tell you. And then you do that in front of your client. So your client, guess what? Your client hears the answer. And guess what you do? You say, do you want to pay for all 4 years, a portion, or just, whatever you think? And again, be quiet and let them give you an answer. And Joyce, here's what I usually hear. Well, nobody paid for my college, so they got to be on their own, right, Deborah? We done all heard that, right? And then here's, listen, guys, here's where you come in as the professional and you say, well, yeah, I understand that, but don't you want your kids or grandkids to have a better life than you? Well, Armand, yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, go on, put 15,000. I ain't paying for all of it, but I leave them 15,000, right? And you put that down, right? Now, here's the deal. If they have 4 children, everything they tell you multiply times 4. Okay, and you're going to put that number right here, right? You're going to put that number right here, right over in this area. Okay, next area, the 5th area, almost done. The 5th area is income replacement. Now, remember this, guys, because this is one that's super overlooked, right? Here's the question that you ask, and you ask them together, and then you ask them separately. Let me ask you this, Joyce. If something were to happen to your significant other, would you need their income to maintain your lifestyle?
Yes, I would.
Absolutely. Right. And so then now keep in mind, Joyce is saying this in front of her husband. So then I turn away from Joyce and I look at her husband and I say, sir, how much of your income would you want to leave for your wife in your untimely death? Now, keep in mind, his wife is sitting there, right? So he's going to say a high number. He's going to say, well, all of it. Or he may look at his wife and say, well, baby, I bring home about $5,000 a month. If the mortgage is paid off, how much of that you will need? And then I start that conversation with them, right? And so let's say he comes up with $5,000 a month, right? Listen to this math. Listen to this math, guys. I take $5,000 a month and I multiply it times 12. That's $60,000 a year. So then I asked him, how long would you want that coming into your wife? And he's going to say either, and again, you got to be careful of the situation, but I like the joke on this. So I'll ask Joyce, so Joyce, how long do you think it'll take before you get a new girlfriend? And everybody will start laughing, but it just kind of takes some of the, it makes it a little lighter, right? And so let's say he says, well, let's say my wife is 60 now. I at least want to have it until she turns 65. Then she can collect her Social Security. So guess what we do? We take 60,000 and multiply it times 5, and I put 300,000 on that line where it says income replacement. Okay. Last one, question number 6, and we're almost done. Dan, I'm gonna be done in 4 minutes. The last question is your wishes. Now, here's what you ask here. You say, Mr. and Mrs. Klein, we've covered a lot of information. We've covered the mortgage. We've covered your funeral. We've covered college for the kids, right? We've even made sure that you have income coming in if something were to happen to you. Last thing is, let me ask you this. Is there any person, place that you would like to leave some money for? Would you like to leave some money for a church, a cause? Do you want to leave more money to your kids, grandkids? Do you want to pay off your mama house? Whatever the case may be, I asked that question. And I just had a client say, I want to leave 25,000 to my church. Okay. I go down here to my wishes. I put 25,000. And I really love my nephew. I want to leave $10,000 for him. I write that down, right? And then once I do all of that, now keep in mind, guys, right? Guess what? Now, what you do is you go all the way back up to the top and you add up everything. Now, here, and guess what? Whatever that number is, that's your client's true life insurance need, right? Now, let me give you little pointers, and then I'm gonna turn it back over to Dan. Probably right after the mortgage, your client is probably thinking, oh, Lord, this is gonna be expensive, right? Here's what you say. Mr. and Mrs. Klein, I know what you're thinking, right? You're thinking that this is going to be, because it looks like you're going to need about over $1 million worth of coverage. You think it's going to be expensive, right? And they're going to usually start laughing and go, yeah, it's probably going to be expensive. Here's what you say to them to put them at ease. Listen, Mr. and Mrs. Klein, this was really just to show you what your actual need is. Understand that when we start doing applications and getting right down to it, we're only going to do what you can afford. Does that make sense? Now, let me just say this. If you've done an F&A, then guess what? You already know what that number is. But if you haven't done an F&A, and you show the client this, and they say, well, you know what, Deborah, I was really only planning on trying to spend about $250 a month for both me and my wife. Well, then what you're going to do then is you're going to look at a whole term solution and see what comes back. And if you got room to spare, then you might add some permanent. Now, what do I mean by this? I do a lot of combination insurances where I may combine. So let's say my client needs a 500,000. I may do a $450,000 term policy with a $50,000 IUL, right? Just in case my client doesn't convert that term policy, at least I know that they'll have 50,000 for the rest of their life. All right, guys, listen. I want to, Dan, do I have time to take a couple questions or no?
You're 10 minutes over, Armand.
Okay, so good, guys. I hope that was beneficial for you. If you have some questions, go into the chat and I'll try to answer them. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Armand.
Thanks, guys. Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Armand.
Great job.
Thank
Give
you,
it up
Mr.
for
Armand.
Armand.
Thank you so much,
He totally
Armand.
crushed
Thank
a lot of
you.
valuable information. We want to get the show on the road. We've got our next speaker up. We want to try to keep on time here, guys. So the next guy, him and his wife, came down here with a group of their people last week. And man, they are stacked and they're excited and they're fired up. And you know, my neighbor 2 doors down, he's got his house up for rent, and I keep texting him. I'm like, look, man, we can be neighbors. Move down here. We'll get this thing rocking and rolling. So I'm not going to take too much time. So I'm going to introduce to you guys our next speaker of the day, Mr. Christian Flores.
Awesome. Hey, thanks, Dan. Can you guys hear me loud and clear?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yes,
fantastic.
yes.
Armand, great training, man. That was awesome. Never heard you train before. Can't wait to shake your hand when we meet in Vegas in
Atlanta.
Atlanta. My bad, guys. PTSD. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and then we'll go ahead and write in everybody. So here you go. Can you guys see my screen just fine? Okay, perfect.
Yes.
So, hey guys, look, I'm going to go ahead and dive into our training here. So I'm excited because this is one of my favorite trainings that I'm going to train the team on. And, you know, we've been in Vantage now for a couple of months, and it feels like we've been here for a very long time. But this is one of the trainings that really just sets the foundation in your mind, because in this business, one of the core aspects of this business is building people. Do you guys agree? And so what I want to do is I want to deep dive when it comes to building people. And, you know, we sell great products. You know, Armand just did a great training, right? And he just really showed you guys how to increase your sales, right? How to be able to strategize when you're discussing options with people. And so now imagine having an army of doing exactly what Armand was teaching on. Man, that would be crazy. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? So here's where I want to go dive into, you guys. So first, I want to ask everybody in here a question. Can we build people? Yes or no?
No.
No.
No, okay. So that's, some people say yes, some people say no. Hey, it's all good, right? So the reason I asked that question is because we build people who want to build, okay? And so let's dive deeper into it. There's no chance for us to build someone who doesn't commit to build, okay? And no teacher can teach if the student does not want to learn. Building a business, building people is a long-term commitment. You see, I tell my team all the time, you guys, we are in the people business, okay? We're in the people business. We're in the business of people. We don't build a business, we build people, and the people help build the business. We are in the business of dealing with human emotion, by the way, right? I'm so surprised that people get in here and they get surprised about having to deal and having to handle people's emotions. Like, how are you surprised? I'm surprised that you're surprised, right? Because we're in the business of dealing with people. Now, building people is a long-term commitment. It's like investing in real estate, right? Investing in people is a long-term commitment. It's not overnight. You got to go through a lot of experiences and challenges to help build themselves up. And by the way, just for context, I've been in this industry for a decade now. I started when I was 18 years old. I just turned 29 years old a few weeks ago. And, you know, I tell you, without a college degree, without a business background, without any background in sales or whatnot, I always joke around with people. I have a PhD, I have a public high school diploma, but yet I've gained so much wisdom in this industry, learning from the right mentors and how to build people, how to deal with people, how to master the human emotion. I'm not perfect by any means, but what I do understand is when you are universally approachable, when you have this personality where you can be I like to consider myself is it an iguana, right? They can change colors, right? I think that's the right animal or the right reptile, right?
Chameleon.
Chameleon.
The chameleon. Thank you. Thank you. See, this is why I have a team, right? Because you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with a team. So thank you guys. A chameleon. I feel like that's what I consider my personality trait. I can be with any type of demographic and adjust myself. I think that's one of my God-given talents. But my point is this: throughout the years, I went through a lot of experiences and challenges. Okay. And same thing with you. If you're new or if you've been around for a long time, we got to go through a lot of experiences and challenges to build yourself up and to build your team up, right? Because you start from a small team and then it leads to a big organization. By the way, you are the most important team member on your team. FYI, you are the most important client in your team. If you don't own a policy, you can only close to the level that you are closed, by the way. Okay, just a little sales hack right there. You can only close to the level that you're closed. If you don't have a policy, if you don't own a financial, if you don't have a financial strat, if you haven't even done your F&A yet, how do you expect to land and, do a bunch of F&As and do a bunch of policies for clients out there? You can only close to the level that you're closed, right? And if you don't have a small team yet, well, you got to start somewhere. You got to build up somebody. You got to go out and invest in someone today. Don't let this weekend weaken you. Okay. And so you build people through a system, not a personality. One of my most favorite aspects about this kind of business model is that you build through a system. Does anyone in here know what system stands for? It's an acronym. Save yourself stress, time, energy, and money. One of the mistakes I've made throughout my career is building people through my personality. It's all about sounding good. It's all about sounding fancy and using big words or, being not duplicatable, right? Now I understand over the years how important it is to simplify, right? You got to kiss your people, man. You got to kiss your team. You got to kiss your prospects. You got to kiss your clients. And I'm not saying you got to literally physically kiss them. KISS is another acronym that stands for keep it simple, sweetie, right? Some people say another word. But my point is this: you cannot build people without a system that is predictable and duplicatable. So you build a trainer, and the trainer builds another trainer, and so on. It's all about replication and duplication. Monkey see, monkey do better than you, right? So they got to copy the right cat at the end of the day. If you build a trainer and she can't build another trainer, there is no building. Let me say that one more time. If you build a trainer and she cannot build another trainer, there is no building. I love one of my favorite things that Jeff says is a recruit is a dying recruit until you get a recruit under them. Okay. Same philosophy with being a trainer. If you duplicate yourself one time, but that person cannot duplicate themselves, there is no building. So what do you do about it? Right? Let's move further here. So there's 3 types of builders in here, team. The small builder, the giant is trapped. So this is the small builder always has people problems. Okay. If I'm in your house today, I'm just a messenger. Okay. The small builder has people problems. They have this thing called Gulliver syndrome. Does anyone know what how many of you have seen the movie Gulliver's Travel? If you Google it later, he's a giant that's trapped on the floor. You see that picture, and he's trapped by small people that pinned him down. Small people all over, like they're like ants, but they're people, right? And a lot of you guys, not a lot of you guys, some of you guys in here might have Gulliver syndrome. I used to have Gulliver syndrome. You know what that means? You are held down by the negative opinions of small people around you. You're held down by the small negative thoughts or this scarcity thinking or this victim mentality, whatever the case might be. A lot of you in here, all of you in here, all of us in here are giants. And sometimes we just got to recognize what we have within ourselves and just like lift off lift up the things that these small people are pitting you down on, and just smash them, and just, dude, you're a giant, right? I'm a giant. Hey, can you do me a favor? Behind your muted lines, I want you to just tell yourself, I'm a giant. Say that right now. I don't care if you think it's corny. Say it. I'm a giant.
I'm a
I'm a
giant.
giant.
Fantastic. Now,
I'm a
small
big
builders-
giant.
I love it. Small builders have poor relationship with their leaders. One of the most powerful things I've learned from a mentor of mine, he told me, Christian, be a pleasure to work with. Be a pleasure to build with. Be a pleasure to be around, right? See, for me, yeah, don't get me wrong. I don't not have people problems, but but here's the thing. I have a very small ratio of people problems. I believe that I'm a pleasure to deal with. I'm not trying to toot my horn. I do believe that I keep myself equilibrium, like 6 inches between my ears. I don't let my ego get to me most times. I'm like, okay, right? And I understand human emotion, right? Now, small builders have no alignment bonding to create teamwork, right? They're ego driven. And then there's discipline challenges too. Small builders have discipline challenges. After survival period, people slow down. You have a good month in sales and recruiting personally or for your team, and then all of a sudden you start to slow down, right? They look busy but don't grow. See, there's a difference between movement and achievement. There's a difference between being busy and being productive. Small builders tend to skip meetings, come late, and hang around the back. Okay, especially at convention. Okay, now I haven't been to a Vantage convention just yet, and I hope that you're not the type of person that just stands in the back, lollygagging in the back, always walking around. Oh man, you know what's even worse? One of my pet peeves in the company conventions is that when people are on the phone in the back. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? Like, you just spent money to be away from your family, and you sacrifice time from work, and then you're on the phone talking to someone that you think is more important than hearing the person that's on stage that's making multiple 6 figures or a 7-figure income that can give you an aha moment to change your life. It doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't, right? So, and small builders they're not a do it first leader. They have an inability to surge. We have a few days into April, you guys, and there's the small builders, they have the inability to surge, right? They can't go through the uphill battle. The small builders, they look at this month of April like, oh, well, I'll just wait till May now. There's only a few days left. What am I gonna do? What difference is my recruitment gonna make? What difference is my production gonna make? It's okay. In the meeting, my leader's not noticing me anyways. He's only gonna notice the top leaders. Trust me. Leaders, a great leader notices everybody, every single body, every person, every single coded agent in their organization. They notice. Believe me when I say that. Okay. Next. Now, that's not to condemn or scare anybody. That's just to let you know you matter. Okay, you matter, and what you bring to the table matters. So please don't think, oh, maybe they won't recognize or notice me because I'm not doing anything anyways. Trust me, you matter. Now, that can be a good thing or a bad thing for you, right? And then they run to mental barriers. They give up too quickly, right? There's no stickability. The best ability is stickability, So let's go ahead and move forward. They win unnecessary battles. Oh man, this is what's even worse. They win unnecessary battles and lose important ones, right? A mentor of mine told me, Christian, you can win the battle but lose the war. Right? Sometimes I choose my battles. I would rather lose the battle and then win the war, right? It's just not worth it winning an argument with the prospect, right? Well, what's the point, right? What you want to be right or you want to be happy? By the way, I'm married, right? Do I want to be right or do I want to be happy? You're right, babe. Right? That's why my wife is a lot smarter than me, right? She's the mastermind behind what we do in this business. And then you got the medium builder, okay? This is the small big guy. Are you the small big guy, the small big girl? The almost people, they fall short on delivering to their true potential. They enjoy the fruits of their labor way too early. And they're a one-hit wonder mentality. How many of you know an artist that produced a song and they're only known for that one song and that's it, right? A flash in a pan type of thing. And then there's an income trap. Our most powerful compensation has the side effect of complacency. Oh man, we have the best comp plan in the entire industry, you guys, right? We have the best comp plan in the industry. That's one of the reasons we came on board here. But here's the thing, there's a side effect to having a great comp plan, and that's complacency. Right? That's complacency. When let me tell you this, you know why I'm so fired up? I'm fired up because I know that there's gonna be some people are they're gonna have their bellies full. Like, ooh, I'm satisfied. I'm happy. I'm good with where I'm at. Right? Not us. Now they have a big team challenge. And then you've got the giant builder. This is the system builder. Okay. The giant builder, the size of your vision determines the limitation of your business. The size of your team determines the size of your dream. The size of your dream determines the size of your team. A giant builder goes out in the field and forces himself into bigger challenges. Okay. He or she breaks out of their employee box and enters the entrepreneur box. You know what that means? One of the greatest lessons that I've learned as an entrepreneur is initiation. I don't wait for my mentor to tell me what to do. I don't wait for Jeff to call me and motivate me. I don't wait for, I don't need, here's one thing that I've learned, you guys. Initiation is one of the highest paying skill sets anybody can learn. And that is so overlooked and underestimated. Initiation. Man, I'll tell you, initiation will put you in further places. That's one of the traits that entrepreneurs have is initiation. They cross the finish line. They don't slow down once they're almost at the finish line. They run right through that wall. Okay, that's how a giant builder operates. Success can be the cause of failure, and failure can be the cause of success. Now, check this out, you guys. And I've got a few minutes here. Okay, I'm going to speed right through this. In the people business, you do everything but expect nothing. Okay, if you want to build a big business, here are some core mental hacks for you. You do it first, they do it later. Okay, you come first, they come last. They leave first, you leave last. If you want to be a giant builder, you should never win over your people. Okay, you got to have your ego in check, healthy ego. Okay, if you say 10 good things, oh man, let me tell you this. I don't know, maybe after saying this, you might not want to be a leader anymore. You might not want to build people anymore. If you say 10 good things and one bad thing, they remember that one bad thing. Right? They can criticize you, but you cannot criticize them. They come and go, but you always stay. I remember when I had a team of people and then they all quit, and then I went up to the office, and then my mom thinking, man, I got the biggest team in here. I'm fired up. And it was just me. I didn't have any team members, right? They do it and they don't, but you always do it. They may win or they may lose, but you have to win. You need them, but you don't need them. You care for them, but you don't care for them. You know what I mean by that? Here's what I mean by that. You don't attach your identity to people in your business. If I have Deborah, and Deborah's just right in front of my face, I'm going to use it as an example real quick, Deborah. If Deborah's in my team and I'm investing in her, I'm showing her how to win this, and that, and then she quits my business, imagine I cry. I go, why did you quit my business? We would have done big things together. Right? See, I need Deborah, but I don't need Deborah at the same time. If she quits, I'm going to be sad. Like, man, we would have done great things together, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep it going. The marathon continues. The mission continues. The mission continues, right? So now moving forward here, which builder do you want to be? The small builder, the medium builder, or the giant builder? Okay. Just checking my text to see if Dan texts me. So I know we're a little bit over time here, but so I got a few more slides here. So you got to identify what type of builder you want to be. And there's no right or wrong, but I assume majority of you in here want to become a giant builder, right? So I got a few more slides. Look, there's 3 types of people that recruit. The first type of person recruits just to recruit. The emphasis of recruit sometimes creates an attitude of recruiting blindly for the purpose of having the maximum number of people to join. A lot of people recruit when we have contests or when they want to qualify for an event. The problem is this: they do this for the sole purpose of recruiting, and not much happens after that. Other people want to recruit and hope for a superstar to fall from the sky. I call that the lottery mentality, right? See, a lot of people, they recruit a bunch of people, and then they just, by the way, did you know we don't get paid to recruit people? Right? We don't get paid to recruit. So what do you, if you're recruiting, I hope you're converting them. I hope you're working on converting them to do their F&As, to do their fast starts, to get them in the field so that you can duplicate, right? Now, next, recruit to sell. There's a lot of people. When you recruit, the sales will follow, right? Because inside one recruit is the potential for 1,000 sales. But if that's the only reason you recruit, this kind of thinking is more or less of a salesperson mentality. This is when it's called milking. You're milking the cow. You recruit someone and you help them run the system. You're going through their sales, you're helping them. But then when they get licensed or when they get promoted, you leave them to the dust. You're kind of like, you don't show them what's the next step. You don't show them what's the next play, right? And then that's why a lot of people will tend to have a bad taste in this kind of industry, right? Because their leaders don't actually spend the time and sit down and show them, hey, this is the next play. Great. You're licensed, you're trained right now. Look, we got to get you to MD. Marketing director is the place to be, right? This is what unlocks the entire wealth code of Vantage. And you're going to get, so my point is this, you want to be the third person. You want to be the person that recruits to build, okay? When the true purpose of recruiting is neither to recruit nor to sell, but rather to build outlets, to build trainers, to build builders, to build MDs. And therefore you recruit to build and run the system, then more recruits and more sales will result from your building efforts, right? Like I like what Andre Genovese told me yesterday when we were on the phone. He was like, if my guy isn't licensed, if I don't have a licensed agent, why should I spend time with someone who's not licensed? Because if they're not licensed and I don't train them, like there's no chance for me to override that piece of that business. Are we in this business to sell, or are we in this business to override? You can do both, by the way. You can have both, right? You can sell and build at the same time. So this is my last slide here. There's a lot more slides, but I'm going to end it right here and pass it right back to Dan. Recruiting solves all the problems of the business. When you have no appointments and your calendar is empty, recruit. When you have no money, recruit. When you have no momentum, recruit. When you're frustrated with your team, recruit. When your team doesn't recruit, you recruit. When your team doesn't sell, go recruit. When your team complains, recruit. When your team loses the dream, you don't lose the dream, you recruit. When your team has no excitement, you better stay excited, recruit. When your team misses a meeting, you better go out and recruit. When the market drops, recruit. Somebody quits your business, you get a chargeback, recruit. When your big superstar disappears, recruit. When you're feeling down and out, recruit. When you think about your family, you better recruit. When you want to help somebody, recruit. When you want to be somebody, recruit. When you have to be at a party, go recruit, go recruit, go recruit, 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 recruit. So anyways, guys, hey, there's a lot of more slides that I can do, but I'm going to end it right there. I want to be respectful of everybody's time. The future is bright, everybody, and thank you for allowing me to grace, just
thank you, Christian.
So thanks, Dan. I'm gonna give it back I'm gonna give it right back to you, and we'll be.
Thank you. That was great.
Great job, Christian.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christian.
Awesome.
Thank you, Christian.
Thanks, Christian. Good job, Christian.
Great job, Christian.
That was awesome.
We good? Can everybody see the screen?
Yes, recognition.
We're going to do some recognition. Who wants some recognition? Clap unto others as you would like to be clapped unto. Vantage April 2020. By the way, we have one more week. We have one more cycle. This is going to be the biggest month by far ever in the history of Vantage production-wise. Recruiting is right there. So, by the way, anybody does one recruit between now and the end of the month, I'm going to try to get Jeff to do it. We're going to do a big guest presentation for the entire company. Anybody gets one gets to bring as many guests as they want. So big contest between now and the end of the month. Okay. So let's get into it. Personal recruiting. Number 10, Tim Delgado, tied with Brandy Higgins. Number 8, Kate Luce. Alina Harris, tied. Joynice Garan, tied. Number 5, Chanteep Mixivang. 4, Garrett Alcorn, tied with Brian Arnold. Number 2, Jody Love. Number 1, Maria Christopoulos. Great job, Maria. Great job. Great job.
Let's go, Maria. Team Eminem.
Joynice Garan, tied with Tim Delgado, Marvela Morris. Number 7, Jackie Ashford.
All right, Jackie.
Number 6, Alina Harris.
Let's
Number
go,
5,
Alina.
Maria Christopoulos. Tied with Mike Wilson. Number 3, Andrea Cortez. Tied with Jody Love. Great job. Number 1, core recruits. Oh, you just heard from Christian Flores, 25 in the core. Show me your core, I'll show you your business. You know what he's really good at too? Recruiting and also getting those recruits to become clients. So you're going to see production following recruits. Don't recruit just to recruit. Make sure that there's internal consumption going on there. Frontline recruits, Andrea Cortez. Number 9, Mike Wilson. Tied with Theo Brown. Number 7, Ray Villegas. Number 6, Andre Genovese. 5,
right,
April
Andre.
Taylor. 4, LJ Bart. 3, Mark Dela Cruz. Number 2, Christian got my CNC got Eminem. Oh, just by 1, but let's see what's going on with the next one. Number 1, Brian Arnold. Entire team recruits. Brian Arnold, number 10. Number 9, Christian Flores. Number 8, see, Eminem got CNC right there, an entire team. Number 7, April Taylor. Number 6, Dan Ebert. I know him. Number 5, Mike Wilson. Number 4, Albert Esparza. Number 3, Andre. Number 2, Andrea. Number 1, heavy hitters at 90, gonna break a hundo this month.
Jay, yes, congratulations, everybody. Way to go, LJ.
Congratulations.
So personal points, right? Number 10, Andre Genovese and Lisa Manalili. Mike Wilson, 8. 7, Garrett Alcorn. 6, Trey Turner. 5, Frederick Perez. Number 4, Kimon Evans. Number 3, Alina Harris. Number 2, Marcial Gonzalez. Number 1, personal points, Carlos Vilorio, 74,007 points. Core points, Amelie Babin at 10. Andrea Cortez, 9. Courtney Engelman, 8. Christian Flores at 7. 6, Ray Villegas. 5, Kimon Evans. 4, Trey Turner. 3, Alina Harris. 2, Mike Wilson. Number 1, Marcial Gonzalez, 164, 409 from the Connecta crew. Great job, Marcial. Frontline points, Alina Harris. Number 9, Ray Villegas. Number 8, Mike Wilson. Number 7, Christian Flores. 6, LJ and Angie. Number 5, Albert Esparza. Number 4, Dan Ebert. 3, Andre. 2, Marcial. Number 1, frontline, Alfredo Paraguan from the Connector crew, 174.
Congratulations,
065.
Alfredo.
Great job.
Congratulations, everyone.
Entire team points. Christian Casada at 10. 9, Albert Esparza. 8, Marcial. 7, Dohaley. 6, Alfredo. Oh my, dominated. 6 through 10 dominated by the Connecta crew. All right, 5, Dan Ebert. 4, Jay Scott. 3, LJ Bart. 2, Andrea. Number 1,
Andrea, congratulations.
Genovese, right?
Congratulations.
374, 772. Great job. Just said he's going to hit a $500,000 this month, right? Qualified SMD, Apris Walker. Qualified SMD, Christian Flores. Qualified SMD, Dohele Escalante. Qualified SMD, Courtney Engelman. Qualified SMD, Marvella Morris.
Marvella.
Qualified SMD, Alan Chu. Qualified RMD, Alfredo Paraguan. Qualified RMD, Marcial Gonzalez. Qualified RMD, Derek Zhang. Qualified RMD, Laura Vang. Qualified NMD. This is a big one.
All right, April.
Taylor.
April,
$100,000 earners, Jackie and Ray.
All
Great
right,
job.
Jackie.
200, April and Amelie. I looked at Amelie. She's 5,000 away from her 250. I don't know where April's at, but Amelie's 5,000 away to be buying her first chip.
Wow.
New $500,000 earner, Dan Ebert. I know him.
All right,
600,000 LJ. 600,000 Andre. New blue. There's 3 blue jacket earners in the company, right? What do you got to do to get a blue jacket? You've got to produce 5 direct qualified MDs. What do you got to do to get to qualified MD? You got to do 100,000 points in your core team in 6 months. 25,000 of those points have to be personal, right? So Andre, LJ, and Dan are the 3 blue jacket earners in the entire company. Blue jacket means builder, right? No blue jacket, you're building into it, but you might be a producer right now. So you got to be working to the builder. Surge Convention, register today. Surge 2026. I think we're sold out. I know we're sold out. There might be some extra tickets. I'm not sure. I'm going to put them up, my extras. If I got a couple on StubHub, you can pay $2,000 per ticket for the main room. I'm just kidding, right? So, but somebody on your team, your leaders more than likely bought extra tickets. So hit them up. Make sure you get into the show. Okay, Pura Vida, Costa Rica, man. If you missed the DR, you better not miss Costa Rica. We've got a contest going on. It's for frontline points, right? Whoever gets 100,000 plus frontline points is going to get reimbursed for the trip. So the Bronze Voyager, if you do 100,000 frontline points, you get $1,000 travel reimbursement. 200,000 equals 2,000. 300,000 equals 3,000. 400,000 equals 4,000. 500,000 equals 5,000, right? So there we go. Costa Rica qualifiers. Gold is Andre, silver, Dan and Trey. We've got a lot more bronze. We got Albert, Marcial, LJ. We got a bunch more that are going to go up for next week. We're going to put on the recognition. But guys, great program today. Armand, thank you so much. I took a ton of notes with all this stuff going on. It was great. We're really proud of everybody. And it's time to win. Guys, I got some good news and bad news, Angie.
Tell me.
The good news is we broke a record today.
Yeah.
The bad news is we were at 296. We were 4 short. And I saw 4 leaders that weren't on today.
Adriano.
So if you know who those are,
Adriano.
hit them up. Go with you, bro.
Well,
you too good?
Before everyone logs out, I just want Veronica to share. There are events coming on. Like Dan has some events. I know some other people are coming, right? We have Albert. Albert has an event. We just want to make sure that everyone is aware of the upcoming events that the field is having. So if you're around the area or know anyone around the area, you can let them know. Tenemos unos eventos que si es que alguien está alrededor de esos lugares en el vecindario, puede asistir. Let's go, Veronica. And we have awesome Veronica doing the sharing right here. So here, the awesome Dan Evert's going to be in Las Vegas. Don't miss out. And that's going to be April 30th at 6 p.m. If you need more information, please hit us up. We want to make sure we're all showing up. Training that you don't show up and book that you don't read won't help you. Go ahead, Veronica. Vamos a la siguiente. Let's go to the next one. We also have the winner's circle, right? Please, this is already May 2nd, next Saturday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., right? And this is in Chicago, Illinois, and the address is right there. Please make sure if you're right there around the Chicago area, connect to that. Go ahead. And the next one we have, right? Oh my God, Dan is everywhere. Where are we going here, Dan? Let us know. We are going to be in California. I'm like, ¿dónde está? Dan is going to be
Orange County.
All right, and that's May 9th, Saturday, May 9th, 10 to 12. So if you're around the California area, connect with Dan, get the QR code, find out what's going to happen, who is going to be there. You don't want to miss that out. Let's go to the next one.
And then it's right, Angie, it's right in between San Diego and LA where it's at. So you can feed in from San Diego and Los Angeles to.
Muy bien. And then we got Dan Ever somewhere else on May 16th. Ay, Dios mío, Dan. We got him. Where are we going to be? In Houston, Texas. Jackie! Houston, Texas. Let's get the team together. If you're in Houston, Texas, please, right, give your leader a call and get there. You don't want to miss out. That's going to be May 16th at 10 in the morning. Venue to be announced. Let's go, let's go. What else do we have going on? All right, we got Team Legacy Elite. We're going to have a grand opening. Officially, the heavy hitters are going to present Search Saturday grand opening in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So if you got people in PA, right, that's going to be June 6th, 11 to 4 p.m. The reason we are sharing all these events is so that way we can all show up and support each other, especially if we're doing constantly trainings on Zoom. We want to make sure we get to meet our people, meet and greet, hug each other, talk to each other, really, really keep encouraging each other along the way. With that in mind, June 6th is your birthday. Kevin, happy birthday. Alrighty. So with that in mind, I just want to say it's been such a pleasure, Dan. Thank you so much for opening up this platform to us at Vantage Conecta. Vantage Conecta, get off mute. Let's give everyone a round of applause, right? Estamos tan contentos de ser parte de todo esto.
Gracias,
everyone.
Awesome.
Thank you for all your time.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Armand
and
awesome.
Christian. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Angie.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Great job, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Let's break the 300. We gotta break the 300. Does that make sense? Let's commit to that. And
Yes.
thank you so much. Have a great weekend and let's make it happen in the field.
Gracias. Have a great day,
Have a
everyone.
good one.
Thank you, Dan.